G'day guys, welcome. It is game day and I don't generally do videos on a game day. I do need a shave, I know that much. I did a live preview a couple of weeks back before the Geelong game. That went down like a fucking lead balloon, didn't it? Don't know if I'll be doing that again. But I wanted to get this one out. And I didn't want this to be a reactionary video because whether we win, lose or draw tonight, my thoughts remain the same with this. And I think it's going to be an ongoing concern or a challenge that we will have to work with over the course of this year. But it will change. It will change over the next couple of years. And I'm talking about games experience, but more sort of age. And I think they go hand in hand. I really do. And I spoke about this at the start of the year, but I didn't want potentially us to lose tonight and then go, oh, fuck, we've lost 3 games in a row and here we go. We're saying the list is no good. And I'm not saying that at all. But there's one player, and I think this has been somewhat not spoken about enough and gone under the radar a fair bit and forgotten about. And maybe it's the nature of the injury. And that's Sam Doherty. And we went into the start of this year with 2 players over the age of 30, Sam Doherty 30 and our oldest player, Nick Newman 31. It is what it is. That's exactly where our list is at the moment. But there is a trend of keeping your better older players around if they are still playing really good football. And I think that has really showed over the last couple of weeks in games. And how much of that is impacting us it's hard to measure. It's hard to really know. But I think it is somewhat of a concern for us. And there's no doubt in my mind that Michael Voss and his coaches will be fucking just wishing they had Sam Doherty available to play. And not just Sam Doherty, the footballer, because I think that is a little bit undersold how good he is. You know, runner-up in the best and fairest, averaging 28 disposals in 2022. And then having another really good year last year, 23 games, 6 in the best and fairest, averaging 26 disposals, and a big year for the football club. And big moments he had last year. 45 games he's played. So just reliable. When he's playing and he's fit, he's reliable. He just gets the job done week in, week out over different spots. He's so flexible and reliable. And being a former captain of the football club as well shows great leadership and experience. And just, I reckon they're scratching. They can't replace him. And to have only one player, Nick Newman, over the age of 31. And wait, please, I'll repeat. We do have a lot of really good players in between that 24, 28 coming through now, which was a big hole. I think that will hold us in. It should hold us in good stead if they can remain together and remain healthy, keep their form going. And it won't be long before we do get a plethora of just really experienced and really mature heads in our football team. And it's still one of the big question marks on our group if we are going to go deep this year. And I know we went deep last year, but we went deep with Doc. We went deep with Newman. And I don't think we can't replace him unless we do something at the mid-season draft. And age profile, games experience, the maturity that brings, the experience, the level-headedness, it's just invaluable. And I keep saying it, we are still within games on game days a little bit wet behind the ears. And it is showing. It is showing. It's been exposed against Collingwood and Geelong over the last fortnight. Let me take you through Geelong's age. And I know we know it's been spoken about a lot. And they won the 2022 premiership. And then we'll go to Collingwood and what they had against us on the weekend. or last couple of weeks. And not all these players play well, mind you. However, have a listen to this. Hawkins, 35. Dangerfield, Tui, 34. Blixarve, Stanley, 33. Duncan, 32. Canguthrie, 31. Jeremy Cameron, 31. They didn't have Tom Stewart playing, who's 31 years of age. Jed Buse, 30. And Gary Rowan, 32, didn't play. Gary Rowan played last week. So that, to me, is such a position of strength, not just the experienced on game day. Now, people will say, yeah, you've got to manage those older players. You've got to make sure that you are managing them, giving them periods of time off. But at the same time, it is such a luxury when you can bring in an Ollie Dempsey, who I was so impressed with. It just comes from nowhere. You can bring in a Tanner Bruin, or you can bring in younger guys, and they seem to thrive in that environment because of the older players and the steadiness of that. And we don't have it. We just don't have it. And it might only be guys 5%. But that's all it will take, 5% of that experience in regards to age. And then the following week, we play Collingwood. Scott Pendlebury, 36. Steele Sidebottom, Mason Cox, Jeremy Howe, 33. Jamie Elliott, 32. Jack Crisp, 30. Tom Mitchell didn't play, 30. Will Hoskin-Elliott, 30. So that is just a plethora of experience in such a big game for the Pies, who had obviously built themselves up. You could see they built themselves up for that game, and when it got close, they just knew how to win that game of football. And look, we've won close games this year, and we've won close games last year as well. So it's not necessarily about that. I'm talking about whether we are going to be a good enough, and as Michael Voss says, a good enough home and away team. And right here, right now, there are question marks still on us being a really consistent home and away team. So tonight makes it really, really fascinating. I think when Doc went out of the team with his ACL against Brisbane, it was somewhat lost of how valuable he is to us. There was a sense that maybe the narrative was that he was getting phased out. You know, that there was no longer a one set position for Sam Docherty. But we just know what he was able to do last year, that he can go anywhere, whether it's a midfield, down back, across half forward, onto a wing, all those really important players on the ground that we're finding sometimes hard for those to fill, with just fucking ever reliable blokes who can play the game and can take on that role at the drop of a hat. Doc, we need you to play on a wing this week, mate. We're coming up against Melbourne. We want you to go to Langdon. We're going to put our more experienced player, Blake Acres, on Caleb Windsor. But we need you to play that role. But we've gone with Binns, a kid who's terribly out of form. And there was this perception that we were somewhat phasing out Doc, and we could cover him really easily because we had Ollie, Binns, Cotters, on the wings, and Acres, half forwards when Elijah Holland's coming in, Cunningham, Fogarty, Durden, younger guys that we wanted to develop. Down back, Boyd, Cowan, Chincotta, Williams coming back. There was really no spot for Doc anymore down there, and even in the midfield as well. We just, Chera, Kennedy, Cripper, Walsh, Hewitt, and then, trying the younger guys in someone like Jack Carroll. And right here, right now, to me, here's a huge part of the missing puzzle, because we don't have enough of these types of guys in our team. We have Nick Newman, okay, and Sam Docherty, who ain't playing. And from my perspective, I think Sam Docherty adds a hell of a lot more to this group than, say, Nick Newman, because Nick Newman is pretty much one-dimensional. He plays in the back half, where Doc can play absolutely fucking anywhere. He's a huge out, guys. and we are missing him. We are missing him big time. I think the excitement of that win against Brisbane in round one, somewhat, coming back, winning on the road, what they did to us in that prelim, Doc going down, somewhat sort of just flew under the radar a bit. There was a lot of grief, obviously, for him, but it was almost around him as the person, what he's been through. And I think it was a sense of we didn't want to be too selfish, or also the sense that maybe we didn't value him as much as we should. And we're fucking missing him, guys. We are fucking missing him. So tonight, going to be bloody interesting, isn't it? If it gets tight. Just looking at Melbourne, Stephen May, 32. Max Gon, 32. Jack Viney, 30. Tom McDonald, 31. That's it for them, Maybe that showed a little bit last year in that final, in those close games we played them last year. It's an interesting one, guys. Tell me what you think. Is Doc the bloke that you would love to get back the most in regards to what he could add to this group in regards to experience and the fact that he is a very, very good footballer? Because I think it's the experience that we are sorely missing at the moment. Take care and go Blues tonight.